Good morning. Welcome back to the Enneagram Mom interview series. I'm so excited that you're here. And today we have an awesome interview with Leslie Zanoff. But first, just a few words about what this series is. Of course, as you might know, the Enneagram is a wonderful tool used to help develop self-awareness and empathy for others. Our mission with this series is to amplify moms' voices by telling our stories, honoring our differences, and offering useful tips from our specific Enneagram strengths that will help all moms and really all parents in general. Today we have a great sponsor. It's a new sponsor, Lita Ruth Boutique. Lita Ruth is out of Ludlow, Kentucky, just across the river from Cincinnati, Ohio. A wonderful woman-owned business. Lita Ruth Boutique has graciously given us the opportunity to do 3 giveaways, one with each episode, for a really cute wish tassel. So if you're watching this and make a comment on this episode, you are entered in a drawing for this awesome tassel. The Wish Company likes to spread positivity. Seek the light, be the light, and spread the light. This keychain says, "Good things are happening," and it's a reminder as you clip it onto an accessory or something to look at to remind you that good things are happening. So thank you to Lita Ruth Boutique for that. And also this really cool mustard color fall chunky sweater came from Lita Ruth Boutique. So please, if you're interested in learning more about that, follow their handle, Lita Ruth Boutique, and there will be a giveaway code at the end of this, not a giveaway code, a discount code for all viewers at the end of this episode. With that, I would like to introduce Leslie Zanoff. Leslie lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas. She is a 3-wing 2, a mother of 2 beautiful children, founder of 3W Magazine, which we'll learn more about in this interview. Her mission is to share positivity in the world. She doesn't like small talk, but she is passionate for meaningful conversation. She's also passionate about risk-taking and motivational speaking. So this should be an awesome interview, and I'm going to bring her in now. There you are. Hi, good
Hi,
morning. How are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I should start by saying it's probably been 18 years since we've
I
talked in
know.
person. But we've stayed in touch over social media, and it's so exciting to see you. And for a background for our viewers, we went to high school together. So
Yeah.
this is kind of awesome to reconnect on here. And I thank you so much for making time. And also, I wanted to show you something funny I found in the garage, like literally this week.
Oh, good.
A 1997 Cougar Tradition of Excellence Christmas tree ornament. So,
I love it. Go
so
Cougs.
anyway, go Cougs. Yes. So, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Whitney, thank you for asking me to do this. I'm nervous and excited, and I love the Enneagram. I don't know as much about it as you do, but I love talking about it. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. Well, you're so welcome, and thank you for being here. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what I would love to start out with is just tell our audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're up to these days.
Okay, yes. Well, like you said, I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I'm here with my husband. I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old little boy, Willa and Winston. And so we are living the dream with working and 2 little kids and this pandemic. It's crazy, right? But it's so good. And then I have, like you said, a magazine, 3W Magazine. My business partner and I started that 13 years ago, which is crazy. 3W stands for the who, what, where. And in normal times, whatever that means,
Yes.
we go to a lot of the local charity events, these nonprofit events, Thursday through Saturday. That's kind of the weekend entertainment here in Northwest Arkansas. And they raise thousands of dollars for great causes all around Northwest Arkansas with the help of our big businesses that are here, with Walmart headquartered
Mm-hmm.
here and Tyson Foods. And so that's kind of what happens in normal times. But then on the side, like my Instagram handle, Perfection is a Unicorn, that's just my fun side thing that I like to do, give motivating messages. And yes, you're right, I don't really like small talk. I'd rather go to
Same.
dinner or
Yeah.
and have wine or go have coffee and just get to know somebody. So yes, and I feel like the perfection is a unicorn, right? It speaks to my 3 Enneagram of let it go, the perfection. But just to put out a fun, positive message, something that I think I need to hear. And so surely other women could benefit from being reminded of that too.
Yeah, I think that message is really important, especially in a society where success is defined by rather by external accolades. And as a 3 and a performer, I know that it's very easy with that personality type to get caught up in what it means to be successful in the eyes of others. And so I think for you to have developed this handle as a message to say, perfection isn't real, guys. Let's get real and let's have fun with life and let's appreciate it for what it is. I think really speaks true to your self-awareness as a 3, that it's okay to be human and to be surrounded by others and really absorb the importance and the power that others offer as well. So I love that. I would love for you to, as we talk about these activities that you do, your magazine is very focused on raising money, right? Well, supporting businesses and creating platforms for
Mm-hmm.
companies and nonprofits that raise money.
Mm-hmm.
What sparked that passion at the beginning? What created the idea, planted the idea to develop this magazine?
Okay, well, so 3W, it's a national concept, and I bet even in Ohio, and I know in Dallas, there's a charitable events registry, and
Mm-hmm.
usually a monthly magazine puts out once a year a calendar listing of all the events happening. And I got the idea when I saw San Diego magazine. They had done it. Tulsa People in Oklahoma had done it. I think Dallas, like I said, had a charitable events registry. So it's not a new concept. We just changed it to 3W, and we stand alone. I'm not part of a monthly magazine. We're just the once a year calendar listing of all the events. And where we are in Northwest Arkansas, there's 2,700 nonprofits. And I know that's crazy, but some of them are small local. Some of them are the
Mm-hmm.
national that we know about, like with ALS and Komen and Heart
Mm-hmm.
Association, but also our children's hospital, our local healthcare facilities. So really it just started out of a need to help the community get organized. When I first started with my business partner, there were 3 fundraising events happening on the same weekend. And
Mm.
for an arts center and their annual fundraiser, that was how they made the majority of their money. A nonprofit event for a local school, and then a healthcare event. And so, but the thing is, and they all had their events, and then the art center made a third of their operating budget that weekend simply because they didn't know. There was an
Sure.
event the night before, and there were no events the weekend before. Just nobody knew how to plan. So I was like, okay, they just need one central location to put all these events together. So that's how that started.
That's brilliant. And I think, do you feel like these activities speak to your Enneagram archetype? And one thing I hear from you on this really speaks to your 2 wing, and that is to give and to help, right? So what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing, facilitating that ability to help these nonprofits have a platform where it doesn't conflict with other nonprofits to maximize the opportunity to generate funds.
Yes. Yes. I think, yes, Whitney, it does speak to for sure, the 3 and the 2, which is, interesting. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I am a helper. I just don't always probably see or think of that wing side of it. But for the 3, I think it was, for starting the magazine, I was like, okay, well, no one else is doing this. No one else wants to do this. So we're going to go and just do it, take charge, do it ourselves. And then, probably in the beginning, going to all these events and taking pictures and it's fun and it's exciting, and you're out talking to people and in the community. And so
And
yes, I
that's
think,
very three too, right? Just kind
yes,
of being around fun, exciting people and businesses, and
yes.
that's cool too. I want to comment really quickly. Like Fayetteville, Arkansas is a bustling community, especially with Bentonville right around the corner with Walmart headquarters. And there's a lot of suppliers and a lot of big CPG companies that have
Mhm.
secondary headquarters within Fayetteville. So I could really understand the need and the importance of what you're doing to ensure that these nonprofits are maximizing the opportunity to generate funds to support the charities that they honor. So I think that's a really cool concept, and I applaud your efforts for that. I would also say you do a bit of writing for your magazine as well, right?
Yes, I take out the trash. I do the writing. I deliver the magazines.
and
I
so
do it
and
all.
so so with that, that is a little bit more of a creative side, which I also think speaks to a four wing, right?
Yeah.
There you're stretching yourself, you're stretching that right brain activity very nicely when you do things that more speak to your artistic mannerism. And also, I know in the email that we sent discussing more about you, you said that sarcasm is a specialty. And I feel like there's a little bit of four in that too. So I love that. Um,
Yes.
all right. So let's talk about your Enneagram type three's motivation.
Okay.
So, the motivation is to achieve, to have accolades, to generate that success. These are typically developed during childhood. A lot of Enneagram threes during childhood typically see reward for good behavior, and that creates kind of that motivation to do things in order to receive that reward. I was wondering if you could share a little bit about your childhood and what event or what circumstances might have assisted in developing this Enneagram type 3 motivation.
Yes. And I have thought about this so much. And also Ian Morgan Cron, who wrote,
Mm-hmm.
well, what book did he write? He
Throwback to
wrote,
you.
yes. And
Yeah.
he came and spoke here a couple of years ago, and it was great and interesting. And I listened to his book too. So I do know. I think I was probably raised with a message of, please perform perfect, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
good at that. Yes, I like accolades, and I can fully admit that, but also have to like check myself too on that. But I think both of my parents are, I had to like make notes, Whitney, so I didn't forget what
Oh,
I
okay.
what I had said and what we talked about. But both of my parents are in education, and I think the message I got was, you go to college or you fail. There's kind of not really an in between. And I remember as a kid coming home with all A's and a B in math or something like that, and my dad going, "Oh, you could have had all A's." So I think there's always been that, like, okay, like go, strive, do. And the message I've thought about too from my mom and my grandmother though was like, you can do it. You, as a female, as a woman, like you can do it and do it all yourself and never ask for help. And um, don't ask anybody, don't depend on anybody. And I don't think that's, a great message either.
Sure.
Um,
Well
yes,
intended, but maybe not the right message.
yes. But I think I've always been driven and self-motivated. I've heard Elizabeth Gilbert, the writer, give talks before, and she's like, there's two kinds of people in the world. There's the jackhammer and the butterfly.
Hmm.
And the jackhammer is somebody who's just like, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go do it, and that's it. And I feel like that was kind of me just from a young age, which the older I get, the more I find that's so weird. As I talk to these younger girls who come in to do internships and things, I'm like, well, I always knew I wanted to write, and I always wanted to write for a magazine. And so that led me to a degree in journalism. And I never really thought I would start my own business. I don't think that was part of my plan or goal or
Hmm.
thoughts, but I feel like I pretty much just stayed the path when it was like, here's what I want to do for you know, writing and all of that.
That's great.
And
That's
now,
awesome.
with the magazine, when you mention that on the four wing, I feel like running a business, especially for 13 years, I mean, it is running a business and
Sure.
fees and taxes and all the things. And so I feel like I've been able to kind of find part of my creativity and fun on my Instagram account with
Mm-hmm.
Perfection is a Unicorn.
Yep.
Even though I'm still writing for the magazine and for what we do daily, some of that is more business oriented and nonprofit focused. And this gets to be, like women, talking to women and motivating in that aspect. So yeah,
I love that.
that's
That's
my fun
awesome.
side.
That's awesome. Kyla said
Who's got
taxes.
yes,
Ah,
fees and
yeah,
taxes. Let
seriously.
me tell you about having a small business. That's what it is.
I'm learning that very, very quickly. Like, what? What is this?
Yes.
Um, okay, so let's shift into motherhood, and talk a little bit about, when you started discovering more about your Enneagram type and developing self-awareness, how has the Enneagram helped you in motherhood?
Um, I, I think it's just helped me in life, gosh, to relate to people when you can. I have close friends and realizing, oh, they're looking at this so differently than me. Oh, maybe their anxiety is higher than mine, and where is that coming from? So it's probably caused me to just step back and pause for a minute and
Hmm.
say, okay, what, why are we reacting this way? Why are we coming at things from different angles and viewpoints? And isn't that the great thing about life? We're all different. But
Yes.
for me, for my kids, like especially my daughter, I would, we have a lot of similarities. Man, she really, I can see that perfection in her too, of
Hmm.
just really wanting to do everything right and good and, all the stuff. But I feel like it's made me choose my language very carefully with my kids, especially with my daughter, in the way I say, great job, or you're so brave. Yes, we're
Hmm.
healthy and strong. I don't know, it's probably just caused me to to choose my language carefully with my
For
kids
sure.
and recognize their differences. And but then also, I feel like because I tend to be a perfectionist, right? I'm like, over here, my house looks clean, but what you don't see on the other side are, my table with waffles and syrup still sitting on it from my
Sure.
kids' breakfast.
Sure.
Um, so I have to let stuff go. When Willa is like, well, I'm going to fix my own hair, or I'm going to decorate my room in whatever way, I try so hard to be conscious and be like, that's great, good. Because
Hmm.
I don't want to, I try to not have a shaming message that I think we
Right.
get as girls, as women.
Yes, and I think, for an Enneagram threes tend to be the most, presentably buttoned up
Yeah,
folks. I mean, they're stylish. They're always ready to perform, right? The
yes,
performer, the achiever, they're always ready. And so to know that that's part of your identity and not project it on your daughter's identity and let her figure that out for herself speaks a lot to the development of your self-awareness about what your motivation is, and that that is not her motivation. So I applaud you for that. And I think that that's a really important message, that we need to get out there in general, whatever our Enneagram type is, whatever our personality type is to be mindful of that type and that we not project it onto our children, which is very challenging. Would you
yes,
agree?
yes, because for me, and especially, I mean, right, who isn't this pandemic hard for, but the lack of control, man, like that is hard. I mean, it's hard for me to be like, well, I mean, I want to brush your hair for for picture day at school, and okay, but also I think I try to recognize, geez, we want our kids to be strong leaders or whatever. Well, they've got to be able to make choices and decisions and mistakes for themselves. And
Hmm.
so to let some stuff go. So, but for me, it's a constant checking in of, every day is not, it just depends on the day,
Sure.
but it's a constant checking in of letting stuff go and that
Hmm.
control and letting your kids be who they are. I think I said that to you too in an email. I heard, or there's a quote of like, every parent will give their kids anything except let them be who they are, right? We'll do
Mm-hmm.
anything for our kids except let them be who they are. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, man, that's just a good reminder for everybody.
Sure. And as a three, let's see, Willa, is she in kindergarten or first grade?
She is in second grade. We just started
Second
second
grade.
grade.
So
Yes.
she's my daughter's age. All right.
Okay.
They're both in second grade
Yeah.
together. That's really cool. So second grade is very interesting, right? Even with, I don't know, is she back in school or is she doing virtual learning right now?
She is back in school. Yes.
Same.
We had a choice. I mean, right. We all have choices. And so, yes, she's back in school 5 days a week.
That's
So,
yes, and same here and praises be. But what I was going to say though is, do you start noticing the development of girls and the messages that they're getting from each other, like around this age, like I'm seeing? There's semantics and language change when she comes home after playing with a friend, and I'm like, where did that come from? My
uh-huh.
innocent little baby that's now saying things that aren't so innocent, you know?
Hmm.
And how do you, and this kind of goes into our last question about parenting tips and tricks and so forth with your Enneagram strengths. How do you navigate, or are you preparing to navigate the world of girls with a young girl?
Whitney, I know. I'm scared. I mean, really.
Me too.
I think there's so much still on the horizon. I feel like when she went back to school in person for 5 days a week, I saw a huge attitude change and shift. And I
Hmm.
think it was because even though we're at a new school this year, that there was routine and scheduling
Yeah.
and knowing what we're looking forward to doing every day and being around other kids. So, you know, yes, I have seen it, and I don't know. Yes, I'm looking forward to, like, I don't even know how all those things are going to go. I think
Yeah.
for me, right? I've talked to other friends about this. So Willa, I mean, for me, I did all the cheer, dance, gymnastics,
Hmm.
whatever stuff 100 years ago. But for her, that's not going to be her deal. She is sporty spice and wants to play tennis and golf and climb trees and all the things. And so, I think navigating through that too, and like, who are your other little girlfriends that like to do those things too?
Hmm.
So,
And that I think does translate. Well, I mean, even though it's not the dance or the cheer, there's that competitive spirit, and the competitive spirit is a good thing. And threes love to win, right? Um,
yes.
and so maybe there's some of that spirit of yours translating to her in a really good way, and just it looks different with
Yeah.
what her interests are, right?
Yes. I know. What do you think? How are you, like, navigating all of that with your
Well,
daughter?
my daughter has got a very kind, soft, gentle heart
Hmm.
um for other children, and I worry about her getting hurt. And
Yes.
that's me. I'm an 8 and I'm a natural protector, right? And
Hmm.
so the reality of it is she's going to be just fine. But
Hmm.
I immediately want to go hover over top of her and shield her from the stuff that I know that she's going to go through, that we all go through as females in
Right.
school, right? And
Yes.
so I have to very consciously keep myself at bay when I see that something could cause her potential emotional pain.
Hmm.
Um, and let her process it and talk through it without lashing out toward the one that caused her pain,
Okay.
both in that person's face and just to my daughter. Like, I try to, like, rethink, well, that girl just sucks. Like, you can't say that to your
I know,
kid,
right?
right? And it's tempting. So, it has to be, well, she must have some stuff going on that we don't know about that makes her behave the way that she is. And you need to understand it's not about you, but you are going to have to deal with it because it's happening to you. So let's talk about how it makes you feel and what you can do to ensure that you're taking care of yourself. And I have to consciously talk through things like that with her and with myself, right? So, because anger is my immediate go-to. So, as she gets older, the other thing that I get a little nervous about is puberty. And I know that I was a devil child in adolescence and in my teenage years, and I got it coming to me. So I'm just going to have to figure out as we go what that looks like. But I do think, to your point, we have to let them be. And with the notion that we are stewards of their very valuable and powerful little lives.
Yes.
And that's all we can do.
And don't you think that the Enneagram is great and has helped with that? Because now I feel like, at least, I'm more self-aware and we have the tools. My sister and I often joke, like, our parents just did not have the tools and the language to communicate. I mean, they're just a different generation to communicate
Yeah.
the tools and language of, here's what I really mean. And I didn't mean it in a shaming way.
Yes.
Probably. And so I think it's caused, hopefully, our generation to really think about carefully, to your point, what we're saying and the language we use with our kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, with that being said, are there any other secrets or tips or tricks that you'd like to offer based on your Enneagram strengths that could help a mama out?
Gosh, Whitney, I mean, I don't even know. I feel like I have just talked so fast and said all the things that I was thinking, but I think it's just that to recognize and to have the conversations, to try and communicate, and to let kids be who they are, and choose your language carefully, and just know that if we want to develop strong leaders for the future, then we're going to have to let them make decisions and mistakes on their own too. And I feel like in talks, because I know you have a little boy too,
Yes.
right? Yes. Okay. The 2 girls and a boy. And so then having a boy too, I'm like, well, that
Yes.
I feel like I have to shift too. Sometimes I feel like I'm with Glennon Doyle on the female empowerment movement. I have to check myself in that scarcity mentality for, oh, well, if we're really focusing on the women, what about the boys? Because isn't it our jobs too, as moms of little boys, to raise them to be compassionate, fair, strong leaders as well? So
100%. And I think that starts with part of that starts with equal, this is very like basic, but equal chores. Like my son is cleaning just as much as my daughter, and he's got the vacuum out, and someday whoever he might end up with as a spouse is going to be like, man, his mama taught him well.
Yes, good.
That child is going to help out in the house.
I'm here for it. I know.
That's right. But yes, to your point, absolutely, the onus is on the parents to ensure that we have wonderful, wonderful young men and women, and that our young men see equality with their women peers, and that everybody's raising the other up, and it's not a one-way street. And the more we can do to plant the seeds now, the better off our society will evolve.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, so great talking with you.
It's good talking to you too.
This went
fast. Yes,
it did go fast.
See you too. And I'm so proud of all the things you're doing and all the impact you're making on your community, and just really glad to reconnect on here. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Whitney, you too. I'm honored that you asked me to visit with you. I just love it. I was so excited. So,
well, thank you. Thanks again. And let's stay in touch. All right.
Okay, will do.
All right. Thanks, Leslie.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Okay, so with that, this was a great episode, and I just want to thank Leslie Zanoff again for joining me this morning. I feel like there was a lot of powerful discussion here. I love Enneagram 3s. I relate to Enneagram 3s, and I feel like, when they are in their full stride and develop their health and self-awareness, they just can't be stopped. So thank you to Leslie for that. Thank you to Lita Ruth Boutique for sponsoring this episode, and again for this gorgeous chunky sweater. There will be a giveaway at the end for this tassel, so stay tuned in the comments, and thank you for participating in this event and talking to me and Leslie while we had our conversation. Next week on Wednesday, we have Ashley F. Tink. It will be at 9 a.m. Ashley is an Enneagram 1, and she hails from St. Louis. So I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with her. She's a new friend to me, so this will be the first time we connect live. And so I can't wait for that. And then last but not least, Leader 15% discount. All you have to do is go to her Leader Ruth Boutique Instagram handle or Facebook page, shop around a little bit, message her directly, let her know you watched this episode and what you'd like to buy, and you will get a 15% discount code, which is extremely generous and awesome. So thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, she is a brick and mortar store, but she also offers online shopping. So enjoy that shopping experience with her. I will see you all next Wednesday at 9 a.m. with Ashley F. Tink. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.